Most women don't crave passive income because they don't want to work. They crave it because they want their lives back. When I talk about passive income to people, I am not just talking about the flex of it, I'm actually talking about reducing that pressure. Referral income is literally how banks and institutions have always made money. When you stop spending capital and start deploying it, your life shifts from treadmill to architecture. And this is why I do not buy luxury items with my hard-earned money. Passive income is not lazy, it's intentional, it's protective, and it is basically love. Welcome to Rich and Regulated, where women learn to build wealth in alignment and flow. I'm Jessica Soul. For over a decade, I've helped women create the lives of their dreams, and here I'll share how I build wealth, fast-track results, and reveal money truths that will blow your mind. Let's get wealthy. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about passive income, and not in the way the internet talks about it typically. So, of course, everybody wants to make money while they sleep. But at the end of the day, passive income is not just all about Bali laptop lifestyle, hardly doing anything and earning millions of dollars a year. So I want to talk about why women actually desire passive income. Because at the end of the day, when you strip it back, it has nothing to do with laziness and everything to do with alignment. Most women don't crave passive income because they don't want to work. They crave it because they want their lives back. They want time. They want presence. And at the end of the day, they want to stop feeling like the only way to stay afloat is by performing constantly. And if you are an entrepreneur, you will know what I mean by that. I am so often still the woman who kisses her husband goodbye in the morning and feels that quiet pinch in my chest, knowing that he's going to be missing out on things at home, and it's not because we're not grateful for the life that we have, but it's because I can see how the structure of modern work slowly wears down really good men. And you watch men trying to be present while carrying the weight of provision for their families. And you realize that it isn't even about ambition anymore. It's about stamina. And I see so many of you women just standing in that kitchen, wishing that your man could see what you see with the kids during the day, wishing that he didn't miss those small moments and that you weren't calculating like how long is it going to take before you can finally exhale and finally live the life that you actually want. I see stay-at-home mums who love their children so fiercely, but they still feel that ache for something that is hers, something that is yours to be proud of. And it's not because you necessarily want to escape motherhood, but it's because you want your own agency. You want to know that you can generate income, that you can make decisions for yourself. You want to feel powerful in your own right. And at the end of the day, women want to be paid for the value that they bring to the world. And I can tell you that that desire is not selfish, it is intelligent. And so when I talk about passive income to people, I am not just talking about the flex of it, I'm actually talking about reducing that pressure inside of a household. Because when your entire life runs on active income alone, I can tell you your nervous system will never fully relax. So even when you're doing well and even when the bills are paid, there will always be this undercurrent of don't drop the ball. And at the end of the day, if somebody in your family gets sick, if a contract ends, if the market shifts or something unexpected happens, the whole thing wobbles. And women feel that wobble in their bodies long before they ever articulate it. And the thing is, passive income changes that internal environment. And it doesn't mean you never work again. It means you're not forced to work. And there is a profound difference between choosing to create and being required to grind. And so now I want to be clear about something because this is where people get super confused. Passive income is not magic. Okay, and I'm sorry to break that to you, but it is structured through capital. Most passive income starts as active income. You build the seed first. You earn, you hustle, you build a skill, and you generate capital. The difference between most people and wealthy people is what happens next. Most people spend the seed. Wealthy people protect the seed and live off what the seed grows. And that one distinction will change everything for you. When you stop spending capital and start deploying it, your life shifts from treadmill to architecture. And this is why I do not buy luxury items with my hard-earned money. I buy it with the overflow. I buy it with income produced from my assets. I buy it from yield, from structures, and from capital that has already been positioned and grown. Because the moment you start spending the seed, you lock yourself into earning forever. And I personally refuse to build a life where earning and spending are the only two gears. So let's talk about how $20,000 months can become realistic without you waking up every day and trading hours for them. It doesn't happen because one thing explodes. It happens because multiple strategies are humming. This happens by building layers. Some streams are yield-based. That means your capital will be placed somewhere that produces return consistently. Not because you're checking it daily, because it's structured to generate. Other streams are market-based. So this might include intelligent trading systems or AI-driven models that operate with discipline and rules instead of emotion. And I have seen and experienced personally what some of these bot structures can produce, even over 1 year, but particularly over 3-year periods when capital is allocated correctly and you understand the risk. The compounding effect is significant when you stop interfering and you just let smart systems do their job. Just quickly, guys, if you're a woman who's earning well but still feels like your money isn't working for you, I can help. My Build Your Wealth portal is the perfect place to begin, and for less than $100 a month, I'll teach you the exact groundwork that has allowed me to create freedom for my family. Just hit the link in the show notes to connect into my community today. Now back to the episode. Now, some other streams of passive income are referral-based, and this one shifts people's brains when they finally start to understand it. Because referral income is literally how banks and institutions have always made money. They clip a small percentage of the flow over and over and over again at scale. So when I say I've structured myself like a bank, you would have seen me say this on Instagram. What I mean is this. When I recommend something I genuinely use and someone else uses it, their money flows through it in the normal way that they are already spending, and I earn fees off of it. So 1 or 2% on someone's yearly expenditure doesn't sound that exciting until you understand scale and time. Introduce that structure to enough people over time, ethically, with value, and you've built another stream that compounds without you needing to perform daily. And then there's another layer that women need to understand properly. There are privately structured firms that exist specifically to deploy capital in more sophisticated ways than most individuals ever could alone. And private equity style vehicles, structured companies, teams whose full-time job is to place pooled capital into arbitrage strategies, lending environments, structured trading, private deals. I know this all sounds a bit over some of your guys' heads, but opportunities that simply are not accessible to someone sitting on their phone at night. When you are willing to place capital into one of these income accounts properly, with due diligence and literacy, what you're effectively going to do is you're hiring intelligence. You're placing your money into systems that are designed to work harder and more strategically than you ever could manually. And some of these accounts for me that I have set up literally pay me every 7 days. So not because it's fantasy, but because the underlying system is producing cash flow consistently. And I can tell you, when income lands every week like clockwork without me clocking in, something shifts internally. You realize that capital behaves very differently to labor. Because labor is effort-based and capital, when structured correctly, is system-based. And I'm not saying blindly trust anything. I'm saying learn how to trust some things. Understand what a firm does. Understand liquidity, understand risk, and understand your time horizons. And I can tell you that once you see how this world operates for the wealthy, you will realize something very, very important. The wealthy have never, ever relied solely on their earned income. They deploy, they position, they orchestrate. And when you combine yield-based streams of income, market-based systems, referral structures, and private capital ventures alongside of long-term compounding of assets like Bitcoin held as intelligent savings, you stop thinking in one income line. You start thinking orchestration. And orchestration is where real stability lives. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, this sounds like it's only for people who are already wealthy, I need to say something bluntly. That belief is outdated information. The world has shifted and access to these strategies has shifted. Technology is moving fast. Decentralized systems have shifted. And these tools are available. And if you're not participating, it's not because you're incapable. It's because no one showed you properly. And I am not interested in watching women sit inside of old models when there are better ones available. And so let me for a minute just bring this back into the heart. Because at the end of the day, passive income for most people is not about the super yacht. It is really about presence. It's about your husband being able to choose his work instead of being owned by it. It's about you having something that pays you because your intelligence and courage built it. It is about being able to look after your parents or grandparents without panic. It's about being able to travel as a family without a 6-month financial hangover at the end of the trip. It's about lowering that baseline pressure so that your household feels calm instead of brittle. And I can tell you that when that pressure drops, something beautiful happens. You become easier to live with. You become more creative, more generous. You stop reacting from scarcity. And this is why I care about this so much. And if you want to see one of my passive income structures that I love right now explained properly, I have recorded a full, recently updated 30-minute breakdown inside of my free Crypto for Women community on School. It's there because literacy changes everything, ladies. So if you need a starting point that doesn't overwhelm you, that's where I suggest you begin. And if you're ready for the full architecture, the layered strategy, the sequencing that maps out a million, multi-million, or even a tens of $1,000,000 path for you over the next decade, with protection, with structure built in, this is what my 12-month mentorship is for. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about creating random streams of passive income. It's about designing your life. I want to reinforce passive income is not lazy. It's intentional, it's protective, and it is basically love structured into systems. And if you have felt that quiet ache for more time, more choices, more presence, more breathing room inside of your life, I can tell you that that does not make you greedy. What it means to me is that you're awake and that you're allowed to build differently. When multiple things are humming in the background, you stop asking how hard can you work and you start asking how intelligently can you build. And that is the shift that changes everything. If you've gotten value from today's episode, make sure you subscribe and leave a 5-star review. And if you're ready for more support in building regulated wealth strategies, check out the link in the show notes. Have a beautiful day.